Well, we had ourselves a massive day last night in our Dub Club. Guys, if you're not in our Dub Club yet, it's a great time for you to join. 67 cents per day, $5 per week, $20 per month. There's even longer term packages for 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. Here's what we ended up doing last night in Dub Club. Check it out. We hit on multiple 25x slips on PrizePicks. That's going 6 out of 6. It gets you 25 times your money. I posted this one here, an all WNBA slip where all these ladies ended up going under their projections over on PrizePicks. Not only that, but one of our top mods in our Discord, in our Dub Club, he posted this little number right here, which led to another 25x. So if you're a part of our Dub Club membership, if you're part of our Discord, you had yourself a fantastic night. Here's a bunch of winning slips from last night, just different members posting their winners. So definitely a great time for you guys to get signed up for Dub Club. I'm offering a 7-day free trial. It'll be pinned down in the comments section below. You jump on Dub Club, you basically get signed up for that free trial, connect Dub Club to Discord, and then you're off to the races, getting all of our picks, plays, and parlays each and every day. Now, with that out the way, let's go ahead and talk about some PrizePicks options that I'm liking today. My name's CJ Curry, and in today's video, I've got a few different options for Thursday night football games that we should be considering. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, get subscribed. Go ahead and hit that like button, ring that bell if you want me to keep making these NFL player prop videos for you. I appreciate all the love and support. I've seen a tremendous amount of growth here in recent videos, so let's keep that rolling today. The first one that I wanted to talk about over on PrizePicks is Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen is looking like a good option today, but maybe not the way that you would think. A lot of people are taking Josh Allen overs. I'm kind of in a different boat. I'm kind of in a different situation where I'm thinking maybe Josh Allen unders are the better look. So what we're going to do is take a look at some different ways that you could play Josh Allen, starting with the passing attempts. So I'm going to plug in Josh Allen's name here on PrizePicks, use their handy little search function. The pass attempts, we're going to look at that one for the under. We're also going to look at the pass completions for the under. And I want to take a look at the passing yards as well, because that's another one where I'm seeing a lot of people just smacking the over on Josh Allen. Now, these are all going to be based on nothing more than using player projections to kind of help guide our decision making. And so there's a couple of different player projection models that I highly recommend. Fantasy Labs does a great job. They have two really sharp guys over there, Sean Kerner being one of them, Chris Raybon being the other. They set up their own projection models, and so I like to kind of look at those two guys and do a consensus of the two, aggregate those two projections. And then the third projection model that I would recommend would be Derek Carty's The Blitz NFL projection system. So we're going to look at that one as well. And we'll also look at RotoWire. RotoWire's got a fantastic projection system set up, and it works really well with PrizePicks, Underdog, and sites similar to those. So those are the 3 or 4 different projection models that we'll kind of take a look at here. So let's get into it. So Josh Allen at 33.5 passing attempts. As you can see, I'm thinking about leaning toward the under on this one. They are expecting the weather to be kind of shaky here in this Miami Buffalo game. Supposedly there's going to be scattered showers on Thursday afternoon, which will dissipate as the evening comes. Few lingering showers are possible, but our weather guy here, Kevin Roth, who does a great job, doesn't expect a full washout style game. So maybe some murky weather, maybe some swampy field, wet field. We'll see how things kind of play out. Mother Nature has a mind of its own, especially here in Florida. So we'll definitely keep monitoring the weather as we get closer and closer to the game. But with that being said, let's take a look at some Josh Allen props here. I wanted to look at his passing attempts first and foremost. So again, this is Chris Raybon and Sean Kerner kind of putting their projection models together, and this is what you're left with. A 30.5 projected pass attempt numbers. So his line set at 33.5 over on PrizePicks. The 30.5 would mean that he's quite a bit underweight based on this projection model versus the PrizePicks line of 33.5. So this is one projection for you to consider, but I like to look at multiple projection models. In this case, we've got the Blitz by Derek Carty. So let's go take a look at the passing attempts for Josh Allen on that one. And when we do, you can see that he's projected for about 30.53. Let me see if I can plug it in here. Yeah, 30.53 pass attempts tonight. Again, so much lower than the 33.5. It's kind of in line with what you saw on Fantasy Labs with Raybon and Kerner's models. So Josh Allen looking like an option for the under at 33.5 pass attempts if you feel like taking it. We'll also take a look over here at RotoWire and look at this one. You can see that they have a lean more category and a lean less category. So if you're thinking about leaning less, look at the options on the right-hand side of the screen here, and we'll scroll down and look at the pass attempts for Josh Allen. Those are set at about 33.3, putting him closer to 33 than 34. So a lot of unders here on Josh Allen, surprisingly. So taking a look at Outlier, Outlier.bet, a fantastic tool, an all-in-one player prop research tool. If you want to check out Outlier for a 7-day free pass, there's a link down in the description. Actually, links to everything that I have going on in today's video can be found down in the description, whether it's Outlier, whether it's getting a PrizePicks promo code, an underdog promo code, or better promo code. I've got it all for you down in the description of the video. But nonetheless, we're kind of still relying on last season's data here when it comes to Josh Allen. So just kind of take a look at the passing attempts. You can see that he went under 33.5 passing attempts in about 47% of the games that he played in. Now, that was last season. Totally different personnel this season. Totally different style of play. We've only got one game under our belts for this season, so we're still kind of flying blind. But he did go well under 33.5 passing attempts in that one game versus Arizona, ending up with 23 passing attempts. And so the one game that we do have to kind of hang our cap on from this season, he did go well under 33.5 passing attempts. So that's the passing attempts for Josh Allen. Do with that information what you will. If you feel like he's going to go over 33.5, feel free to go against these projection models, go against the data, and take the over if you feel so inclined. But let's take a look at the passing completions, because that one kind of ties into the passing attempts. And once again, this is just another one of those ones where it just looks like the 22 is just a little too high. So if you believe in these projection models, they're not always 100% accurate. They're not always right, but they can kind of give us an edge if we kind of take a look at them and use them for what they are. But 20.2 projected completions over here on Fantasy Labs for Josh Allen. Again, the number on PrizePicks is 22. If you get it at 22.5, even better. You'll have to go somewhere else outside of PrizePicks. But the projection of 20.2 on a 22.5 is another good look here for Josh Allen. Taking a look at the Blitz. In their projections for Josh Allen's completions, they've got Josh Allen at about 21.65, which again puts him under the 22 completion number that he is sitting at over on PrizePicks. We got 2 out of 2 projections that kind of agree that, you know, Josh Allen's going to stay at 22 or less passing completions tonight. And then we'll take a look at the RotoWire projections for Josh Allen, and they've got him right at 21.62. So closer to 21, 22-ish, but far away from that 23 or more projected completion number for Josh Allen. Let's slide back over here to Outlier. We could switch this up. We could look at the passing completions here. Outlier's got all the historical data that you could possibly want. Here's the one game that he played. This was against Arizona. We'll set this to under 22.0. There we go. And he did go under the 22 completion number against the Cardinals. In that game, he had 18 passing completions. Again, that's just one game, super small sample, but that's all we have to work on from this season, which is more applicable than probably games from last season. But we can also take a look at those games from last season using Outlier. And you can see that 47% of the games that he played in, he did go under 22 completed passes. So just a little bit more information for you to help make a more informed decision when it comes to Josh Allen. But both the passing attempts and passing completions look a little bit too high when you compare them to some of the sharp NFL projection models out there. Which leaves us with our last one. It was just Josh Allen at 246.5 passing yards. This is another one where he's blown this number away in the past historically, but again, this is a totally different team. No more Stephon Diggs, no more Gabe Davis. So a different cast of characters for him to throw the football to. We're talking about a situation where weather could play a factor as well. And so maybe we should limit or quell our expectations when it comes to Josh Allen's upside tonight. I'm just saying. So let's go take a look at the projections for his passing yards while we're talking about all things Josh Allen. Now, Kerner and Raybon's projections, when you combine the two, they have them right around 219 to 220 combined passing yards. You're seeing them at about 244 up to 246 passing yards on some of these sports books. So kind of a mixed bag when it comes to Josh Allen, but that's a pretty significant difference when you're talking about passing yards. 219, 220 versus 246 or wherever he's at on PrizePicks, right? So that's a pretty big differential. So something to kind of consider, maybe taking the under on Josh Allen. Again, projection models, they're just a forecast of what could happen. They're not always right. So take that for what you will. Let's go over here to the Blitz and take a look at Josh Allen's projected passing yards there. Again, you're going to find that Josh Allen's projected passing yards are quite a bit lower than where he's sitting at out on PrizePicks. PrizePicks has him at 246.5. The Blitz has him at 234.2. So that's a pretty big difference of about 12 passing yards. So just something to kind of keep in mind here. And then we'll go over here to RotoWire and take a look at the passing yards for Josh Allen there as well. And you can see that they are leaning under or less on Josh Allen for the 246.5 passing yards. They've got him projected for about 244.1, so a little bit more generous there on the amount of passing yards that Allen may have, kind of a closer margin to the PrizePicks number at the 246.5 mark. But there's a little bit more information about Josh Allen. Let's go back over here to Outlier. I'll kind of show you some of the passing yards that he's had over the last season and obviously the one game from this season. So take a look at last season. If you're thinking about going under on Josh Allen at 246.5 passing yards, here's how he performed last season on that number. 53% of the games in which he appeared, he did stay under 246.5, okay? 53%. So almost a coin flip, almost about half of the games, a little bit better than half, he stayed under 246.5. Again, we've only got the one game against Arizona from this season to take a look at where he finished with 232 passing yards. Now, is Miami's defense better than Arizona's? Probably. I would guess that they are. Will this game be a fast tempo style game with pending potential weather issues looming? I don't know how the pace of play is going to be for both of these teams in this game. But here's what you have. 232 passing yards is what he ended up with against Arizona. And maybe tonight the matchup against the Dolphins is a little bit tougher on paper. But we don't play on paper. They got to get out on the field and make it happen. But those are just some interesting pieces of information I wanted to pass along to you guys, the viewers, about Josh Allen and a couple different ways that you can play him. Now, let's slide over to Josh Allen's teammate, which is Khalil Shakir. Now, Shakir with a line set at 3.5 receptions. This looked like it might have been just a touch too high. It kind of ties into Josh Allen's attempts and completions being low. Maybe Shakir's receptions are a little bit too high at 3.5. This was just another one where I caught it on the projection models. Most of them projecting under 3.5 receptions. So let's go take a peek at those real quick. We're going to go back over here to Fantasy Labs. Let's switch this up and go over to the receptions category, and then we'll type in Shakir's name and see what kind of projections we have. Again, this is Raybon and Kerner's projections. They've got him at 2.7 projected receptions today, which puts him close to 3 receptions, but far away from 4 receptions. So if he's at 3.5 receptions and he's projected for 2.7, that would lead us to believe that maybe we should be thinking about taking the under here against the Miami Dolphins. So there's your first projection on Khalil Shakir. Let's take a look at a second projection on Shakir. We're going to go back over here to the Blitz, which again is by Derek Carter. You can find this on EV Analytics. You can find this on Roto Grinders. Both of them host the Blitz. But we'll take a look at the receptions here for Khalil Shakir. And Shakir's projected for about 3.16, it looks like. 3.16 receptions. Again, putting him closer to that 3 number than the 4 number. So, again, do with this information what you will. If you feel like it's going to go the opposite way, well, then take it the opposite way. Take Shakir over, even though he's projecting for under. I mean, I don't know. Get crazy if you want to. Anything can happen, I guess, once these games start. But the projection models are typically the way that I kind of lean. I use those for my player prop research. And finally, we'll also look at the RotoWire projection, because why not? We're here and we're looking at them. Might as well use them, right? He's projected for closer to 3.5 at 3.49 receptions. Again, just a slight differential here, but putting him closer to 3 than 4 receptions for Khalil Shakir. Now, again, this is going to be last season's information, which is what we have to kind of use and rely on. A lot of different situation this year, though, without Diggs, without Davis. But here's what he did last season, going under 3.5 receptions. He did that in about 68% of the games. Obviously, his role's a lot bigger. He's taking more snaps, running more routes, et cetera, et cetera. But here's what he did in the one game versus the Arizona Cardinals. He ended up with 3 receptions versus the Cardinals. So that did put him under the 3.5 mark. Will he have an easier time tonight? That remains to be seen. We're still very early on in this NFL season, but from what I'm seeing here, the projection models have Shakir going under 3.5 receptions. And then got one play from the Miami side, because the Miami backfield's kind of in shambles right now. Raheem Mostert has already been ruled out. We're not sure if Achane's going to play or not, which might leave Jeff Wilson Jr. as kind of the main running back. I think even if Achane plays, he might end up being somewhat limited or on a snap count of some sort. So it's kind of tricky navigating the Miami Dolphins side of things, but I did find one that kind of caught my eye, and that was Jalen Waddle. Waddle's sitting out there at 13 fantasy score. I think for 13 fantasy score, I'd be willing to roll the dice, willing to gamble on him getting at least 13 or more fantasy score in this one. A lot of projections have Tyreek Hill going under on things like his receptions, his receiving yards. I'm not going to touch that one. That one's too hot, too spicy for me to mess with. But Jalen Waddle at 13 fantasy score, I'd rather take the over on that than to take an under on Tyreek Hill. But maybe Tyreek Hill ends up going under his receiving yards. You just never know. But in this case, Jalen Waddle at 13 fantasy score is projecting well. I looked this one up on the Blitz earlier, but let's go ahead and pull it up since I've got you here. The Blitz, if you're going to be using projections, make sure you're using DraftKings projections. They're the closest projections to PrizePicks. But they've got, the Blitz has Jalen Waddle projected for close to 16 fantasy score today. Again, he's at 13 on PrizePicks, so that's like a differential of about 3 fantasy score, which is pretty significant when you're talking about fantasy score projections. So Jalen Waddle projecting over 13 fantasy score. I looked this up on the Sean Kerner DraftKings projection models as well. And when we do that, you can also see that Jalen Waddle's projecting over 13 there, about 14.65 to be exact. So putting Jalen Waddle over that 13 fantasy score number there. Now, I also went out and used a free projection model. You can find this out on NumberFire. This projection model doesn't cost you a dime, but they have Jalen Waddle projected for 16.6 fantasy score over on NumberFire. So the 13 just seems like it's a little bit too low. Definitely seems like it could be attainable here by Jalen Waddle. Here's what he did last season at 13 or more fantasy score. He only went over in 40% of the games, but he did go over in one game, and that was against the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he had 16.2 fantasy score. That was this season back on the 8th, just a few days ago. So 16.2 fantasy score. He went well over that 13 number. So if they expect Hill to have a bad game, maybe Waddle steps up and he's getting more of the targets, more of the productivity tonight in tonight's game against the Buffalo Bills. But the over on Jalen Waddle at 13 fantasy score looks like a worthwhile option. But there you go, guys. There's a few other options to kind of piggyback on my previous video about tonight's Thursday night football matchup, Buffalo visiting the Miami Dolphins. Let me know down in the comment section some controversial plays potentially. Josh Allen unders, Jalen Waddle overs. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your comments. Leave a comment down in the comment section below. And if you love this video, let me know by hitting that like button. And I'll keep producing more and more of this NFL content all NFL season long. Good luck on your picks, plays, and parlays. I'll see you inside of our Dub Club and Discord. Peace.